Real Virginia is proudly produced by the Virginia Farm Bureau. For nearly a century, Farm Bureau has been a friend of the farm for all Virginians. Visit our website at vafb.com.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Real Virginia, a show about Virginia agriculture and the people who produce the wonderful local products we enjoy, brought to you by the Virginia Farm Bureau. Here's what's coming up on this week's show. Take a trip for sweet scoops and swirls. Learn how to marry these two Southern staples. And this Virginia farm family won national honors.
Home will always be Virginia, between the Blue Ridge and Chesapeake Bay, Atlantic to Appalachia, home in my heart always.
Welcome back to Real Virginia, everyone. We're coming to you this week from Richland's Creamery in Dinwiddie County, where the Jones family is churning up delicious creations from their cow's milk. What's good?
It's all good.
Burke Moeller takes us around the Commonwealth to visit a variety of sweet ice cream spots.
On a hot summer day, even the pups are willing to go the extra mile for a scoop of dairy fresh ice cream. Because while ice cream is tasty any time of the year, in the throes of summer, it's an extra special treat. The best ice cream is sourced from local dairies, so we decided to make our own ice cream trail and get a sample of the best of what Virginia dairies have to offer. Come along. The first stop on the ice cream trail is Move Through in Northern Virginia, in Remington, part of Fauquier County. They offer a drive-through experience as well as plenty of covered benches and other places to sit. Their original retail location is in Remington, Virginia, but the business has taken off so much that now they have 8 other retail stores, mostly in Northern Virginia. Move Through sources its ice cream from Cool Lawn Farms a few miles away. This is a common business model for dairy farmers who want to expand their opportunities beyond selling milk as a commodity. Move Through is Cool Wind's venture into retail.
We decided to open a dairy and ice cream store to help bring the consumer aware of the knowledge, kind of bringing the cow to cone concept. So we wanted to open a store that served ice cream because ice cream makes people happy.
Carl's in Fredericksburg is next on our list. It's an ice cream store in the downtown portion of the city, near Old Mill Park and next to the Rappahannock River. Ramona Settle is one of the owners of the iconic ice cream stand that her Uncle Carl established in 1947. Being in business for over 75 years has created an expectation among Carl's customers, as Settle and her siblings, who are also part owners, want to make sure their customers taste that tradition.
We've always tried to keep the integrity of what it is. Try not to change the recipes. Try not to change the sizes and the way we do things and the uniforms we wear. We've always been based on nostalgia and wanting to maintain what Carl had started.
One thing that's become apparent as we visited various ice cream places is that there are many different ways to run a retail business selling ice cream. Farmview Creamery in Hanover County runs their retail operation on weekends from an ice cream truck in Ashland.
We've always had a dream of opening an ice cream shop on the dairy. That investment was pretty high, so we thought starting with a trailer, would be a little less overhead. So bought the trailer and put the freezer in.
Farmview sources its ice cream from White Oak Dairy, the last dairy operating in Hanover County. The family didn't have the equipment there to pasteurize and make their own mix, so they buy their mix from a local vendor and make the ice cream on their farm.
There is no ice cream shop in Ashland, so they will seek us out. Our regulars will seek us out. We said for August we would start selling pints, so they're really excited about that.
The next generation is also on hand to help out with the family business.
I have fun, especially since I get to hang out with my mom all the time, which most kids probably wouldn't like, but I love hanging out with my mom.
The Kemeroys came with their Cardigan Corgi from nearby Goochland County to get a taste of their favorite ice cream.
I love their vanilla. It's the best vanilla ice cream I have ever tasted.
The Stanleys parked their ice cream truck in several different spots around Hanover County. Today, they're parked on a lot owned by Crimson and Clover's thrift store. Kara Williams owns the business and has seen an uptick in foot traffic since ice cream became available on her parking lot.
It's been going great here. I've known Missy and the Stanley family for a long time, and so it was really great to be able to open a business in the center of town where we grew up and have them have their ice cream truck here. It brings business to us, it brings business to them, gets both of our names out there.
Not too far from Ashland in downtown Richmond is Bev's, which has also become an institution in the neighborhood. Founder Beverly Mazursky opened her shop in 1998 in the Carytown district. Erin Botchard runs the pastel painted shop now.
I ended up working here as a part-time summer job. And then obviously the following year, 2020, was COVID, and we got very close throughout that experience. I became manager, I was making ice cream, I was helping her run business errands.
Botcher and her brother eventually bought the business, and it continues to thrive. Our final stop on the ice cream trail is Richlands Dairy in Blackstone, part of Dinwiddie County. Coley Drinkwater and her family decided to bring a retail aspect to their dairy operation as a way to add to their bottom line.
It's just tough to make it in a commodity market. And that middle-sized dairy, which is what we are, is the fastest disappearing dairy in America. So we had an option. We either could get bigger, we could sell out, or we could build a creamery.
Drinkwater wanted their retail establishment to be a place where families can spend time together. So they added a porch with rocking chairs and a playground.
We still don't offer free Wi-Fi because we wanted people to put their phones down and actually connect with one another. Because for my grandparents, that was ultimately their core decision when they decided to come back and take the farm over. They really focused on family, and we wanted to help create an environment or a place where people could go and focus on family.
And if you can't decide which flavors you want, order a flight. It's not just for the pub. Both Richlands and Farmview offer flights, so you can find out which flavors please your palate. In Dinwiddie County, I'm Burke Moeller for Real Virginia.
There are approximately 360 dairies in Virginia, according to the latest Census of Agriculture. In addition to Muthru, Carl's, Farmview, Bev's, and Richlands, ice cream lovers should check out Smiley's Ice Cream, just south of Harrisonburg. Other favorites include Short Lane Ice Cream in Gloucester Point and Homestead Creamery in Franklin County.
I'm Mark Viette. Coming up on In the Garden, we're going to talk about crabgrass. Stay with us.
We've all seen crabgrass crawling across our lawns like the crustaceans of the same name. Mark Viette shows us how to control it in the garden.
We're going to talk about crabgrass. Many of our lawns during the summer months will be inundated with crabgrass, but this is sort of what it looks like. And not only can it be in your lawn, but it can spread into your gardens. And it's a rapid grower. It grows fast. I guess 3 weeks ago, I really didn't notice all this crabgrass, but now I can see the crabgrass. If you look in the lawn here, you can see sort of this color. Not only that, the crabgrass spreads, and it will have little roots rooting into the lawn. And these shoots of growth could actually be almost 2 feet long. There are a couple ways to get rid of crabgrass. Let's go look at what you can do. Crabgrass can be pretty vigorous in its growth. We forgot, or we didn't apply a pre-emergent. A pre-emergent is a product that you apply early in the spring to prevent the crabgrass from growing. So Dad came in here with what is known as a post-emergent. It's a product that controls weeds after they grow. And as you see here, it's done a great job on crabgrass, with one exception. This is known as fleabane. It is a weed that is resistant to many weed killers. In fact, each one of these plants that you see here can produce up to 250,000 seeds. One of the things you're going to notice in our lawn here is lots of clumps of cut grass. That is a sign that you might be mowing your lawn too short. And in this case, this lawn here was mowed at 2.5 inches. It really should be mowed at 3.5 inches. And it's important that your blades are very sharp, so you might want to sharpen your mowing blades, you know, every day you're going out to mow, or once a week, because they're called mulching mowers. These are mowers that cut the grass and recut the grass so it falls into your existing lawn. The other advantage by having a taller 3.5-inch lawn and a thick lawn is that it chokes out some of the crabgrass seeds. Not only does it choke out some of the crabgrass, it can choke out some of the other weeds that you will get in your lawn. I'm Mark Viette. Join me next time in the garden.
Shrimp season will soon be underway, and Chef Tammy shows us the perfect pairing for shrimp with grits in the heart of the home.
Hi, I'm Chef Tammy Brawley from The Green Kitchen. Welcome to Heart of the Home. Today we are going to make one of my very favorite dishes, my version of shrimp and grits. Lots of vegetables here, lots of bacon, lots of cheese, lots of cream, all the good stuff. So what we started with is we've got chicken stock and water in our together in a pot here that I've already put together for you, and we're using stone ground grits. That is very, very crucial. You do not want to use the instant things. You want stone ground, and they do take about 20 minutes or so to cook. So we've got our water and chicken stock on. We're going to add the grits. Just going to kind of whisk them up a little bit. Once they get to cooking, we are going to be adding the cream and the cheeses and the butter. In the meantime, we're actually going to go ahead and start our gravy for the grits. I've had this pan on a little bit longer, and it's going to be nice and hot. You want to start out with bacon, which I absolutely love, of course. I love a little tip to tell people about bacon. You know how hard it is to actually cut while it's at room temperature or even right out of the fridge. If you put your bacon in the freezer for about an hour, much easier to dice. We're looking for about 1/2 cup or so, more, it doesn't really matter. And we're going to go into the pan. Start the bacon sizzling. All right. Going to hit that with a spatula there. No need to add a fat because the bacon is going to render its own fat. All right, so once the bacon is starting to kind of brown a little bit, you can go ahead and start adding your vegetables in. We want to start with garlic, and yes, it is a lot of garlic, and I love it that way. But you immediately want to stir that garlic. You don't want it to burn. I'm going to turn the heat down just a little bit. Bacon and garlic. All right, and then we're going to come back in and we're going to add some green onions. And capers. Capers are delicious. They add a nice little salty balance. So we're going to add the capers in. Then we're going to add some diced tomato. Starting to pick up some beautiful color as well. And then we've got some chopped bell peppers here. Of course, these are all delicious vegetables you're probably growing in your own gardens. What a way to take advantage of that. And just look at that gorgeous color. So pretty. So everything is cooking nicely. The vegetables are starting to soften. We're going to saute it for just a couple more minutes, and then we're going to be adding some cream to that. and some butter. Bacon, cream, and butter. You had me. There we go. Vegetables are starting to soften. I love that. We'll get our shrimp in there first. Now, I do like to leave the tails on the shrimp. Some people disagree with that, but I just find the presentation is nice, and your diner will actually, you know, obviously not eat the shells or the tails, but I personally love doing it this way. So we're going to add the shrimp. We're going to saute those up. They're going to start to turn a little pink. And your recipe might actually say to do the cream before the shrimp, but I like to do it this way because it gets the shrimp cooked a little bit more. All right, our grits are starting to boil here to my left. All right, so we have sauteed our shrimp and our vegetables. We're going to now come back and we're going to add about 1.5 cups of heavy cream. Going to let that come to temperature there, come up in heat a little bit. And then to our grits, which have been going about 15 minutes or so, we're now going to add heavy cream to that. And we're going to add about 4 tablespoons or so of butter. And then we're going to add a combination of cheddar cheese and Parmesan cheese. Get that nice and melted. Oh my gosh, this looks so good. You know, I'm from the South and I think I was bottle fed on grits. All right, I do want to hit both of these with a little bit of salt and pepper. All right. I've turned my heat back up just a little bit on the gravy. And to that, we're going to add a little bit of butter. Just kind of swirl that around and get that nice and melted. And the last thing we're going to add after that melts is a good handful of Parmesan cheese. Oh, the grits are looking beautiful. All right. Here we go. The butter is melting. The cream is coming up to temp. On our gravy, that is, with the shrimp and all those delicious vegetables. I'm going to go ahead and hit that with a little handful of Parmesan cheese. Oh, this is going to be so good. All right, I've turned the grits off. I'm going to grab my serving dish. All right, I'm going to put the grits in a nice big serving bowl. All right, our gravy is ready. Let's see if we can pour that right over top of our grits. Oh my gosh, this looks so good. All that delicious bacon and capers and veggies on top there. All right, and the last thing I'm going to do is hit it with a little bit of parsley. Nicely fresh chopped parsley gives you beautiful green color. And I had actually sauteed up a little bit more bacon. Why not hit it with that, right? All right. And there you have it, what I think is the best shrimp and grits recipe. I'm Tammy Brawley from The Green Kitchen. Join us next time on Heart of the Home.
Did you know that a bell pepper has more vitamin C than an orange? That's right. Bell peppers can lower the risk of cancer and are jam-packed with a rainbow of phytonutrients. Just 1 cup of red peppers gives you 1/3 of your daily vitamin A, which is great for keeping your eyes sharp and infections away. In 2022, 399 farms grew bell peppers on over 230 acres. Green peppers are harvested before they are fully ripe and left on the plant. The green pepper will turn yellow and then red as it matures.
From the moist earth of the Shenandoah Valley to the sandy loam of the coastal plain, Virginia farmers are committed to sustaining this essential asset.
Virginia's fertile soil is the birthplace of the crops that feed, clothe, and fuel the Commonwealth. For generations, farmers here have tended to the land, and on the Middle Peninsula, Ben and Shannon Ellis are carrying on a legacy of conservation.
I'm very blessed to be a 10th generation farmer. My husband, Benjamin, and I operate Thomas Neck Ag Enterprises. We combined our 2 family farms, so his farm being where we're located at today, which started in 1683, and then my family farm is located just 13 miles away in Caroline County. Today, our operation consists of a little more than 4,000 acres, and we are operating in 4 counties within this area, so Essex, Caroline, King and Queen, and Richmond County, all of which are included in the Chesapeake Bay watershed. We raise corn, soybeans, wheat, and my son and I have a small commercial cow-calf operation.
Both growing up on family farms, the Ellises credit their soil conservation success to the lessons their fathers taught them.
When our fathers came along, they were introduced to no-till. They had to adapt on the go to do these practices. Shannon's father, which was B.A. Tigner, he was one of the forefronts. He didn't back up. He went full steam ahead. He embraced it. The farmers that embraced the change are going to be the ones that are sustainable. You have to change.
No-till farming means growing crops without disturbing the soil. Building on their father's legacy, the Ellises are constantly pushing the envelope on innovation.
The latest that we just started doing this year is flying drones with Taranis. And what they're doing is they're scouting their fields. They're saving us product. What they do is they fly all their fields, and if one part of the field needs to be sprayed and the rest doesn't, that's a huge savings to us.
Drone mapping is just one of many tools the Ellises use to care for their land. They also apply biologicals, which are living microorganisms that make nutrients available for crops. In addition, they use cover crops and buffers to keep soil and nutrients from washing into nearby watersheds, and use precision agriculture equipment to apply the exact amounts of fertilizer and crop protection needed at the right time.
Let's talk a little bit about sustainability, regenerative, conservation. These are terms that are thrown around a lot. It seems that some words go in and out of being a buzzword. It's confusing to the consumer. It's confusing to the producers, honestly, as well. So I think our take on that is that regenerative is really a sustainable way of how we are choosing production methods. And when I say sustainable, I mean sustainable for the environment and also for the farm's financial situation.
The Ellises' commitment to take care of the land earned them national recognition earlier this year.
The American Soybean Association created the Conservation Legacy Award to recognize those producers who have been committed to soil and water conservation and to preserving it for the next generation.
I never will forget it. We were on stage that night. We were sitting there and we'd been introduced and everything. And so then I started listening to what everybody else had done as far as their practices. And I mean, they were phenomenal. But I thought at that instant, that split instance before we found out, I said, we got a chance. We got a good chance. And at that time, they called us that we had won for the nation. It really hit home that our fathers had instilled in us, the work ethic that they had, the not giving up.
I feel like this recognition really is for the generation that came before us, And also, it is really important for us to be able to pass on this love and this occupation and commitment to service to the ag community and to conservation to our son.
For us, it's been a huge award because on the backside, we have a son coming trip. So we're trying to preserve, protect, and nutrient this ground, just nurture it for him, because we want him to be able to come in their footsteps, take 2 generations of different farms, operations, and go forth moving on.
The fact that our son wants to continue was very obvious from an early age, and so we are both so happy that both of our dads got to see that love and that passion from such a young age in him, and seeing that that was the career path he was going to choose. My dad always showed that it was a calling for him, that God had given us each this opportunity and that it was our responsibility to steward what we had been given.
A stewardship that is evident in the Ellis's vision of the future.
My vision for the farm in 20, 50 years is that there's still plenty of open space, but that none of our production methods may necessarily be the same. My hope is that Tripp and those who follow him are going to be open to every technology that comes down the way, that they will try it out, see if it works, accept it, and move on to the next thing.
Take care of the land, and it will take care of you. For the Ellises, that's not just a motto, it's a mission. For Real Virginia, I'm Elijah Griles.
We're so glad you could join us to celebrate all the bounty Virginia has to offer. From the kitchen to your home and garden to our beautiful wide open spaces, we're proud to say that this is Real Virginia. For everyone from the Virginia Farm Bureau, thanks for watching. Make it a great week.
Home will always be Virginia, between the Blue Ridge and Chesapeake Bay, Atlantic to Appalachia, home in my heart always.
Every year, 500 people in the United States die in an all-terrain vehicle-related accident, and another 1,000 people are seriously injured. Sadly, many of those victims are children.
Being able to have fun on an ATV, being able to use an ATV in a workplace environment, there's a lot of unknowns. Number one tip for riding an ATV is definitely wearing a helmet. You think about the opportunity to overturn an ATV, imagine your head the same density as a watermelon. And how easy it would be to crack. One of the biggest things that we always push for anybody we train is always make sure that you have a good quality helmet before you ride. Parents are the leading example of what children tend to follow when they're out using an ATV on a farm. So we want to make sure that our parents are very knowledgeable about safety and equipment and being able to teach their children the correct method to operate an ATV safety, especially with the age. Age is important.
This message brought to you by the Virginia Farm Bureau Safety Advisory Committee.